for Schindler. Has a chance to write his name in Huddersfield Town legend. And he takes that chance!
Hello and welcome to a pint-sized preview sponsored by Magic Rock Brewing on Huddersfield Town's opponents this coming championship season. And in this episode, we're going to take a look at Preston North End. Okay, right, guys. Here's a little tidbit for you. Only Millwall got as many points as Preston during 2022 in the championship. They put a tremendous run together under Ryan Lowe. And a lot of that potentially was down to the fantastic loan acquisition of Cameron Archer, who looks one hell of a player. And it's unlikely that he's going to be back this coming season. But they have brought in Ben Woodburn, who is a player who has probably disappointed over the last couple of years, but maybe has a redemption arc in there. We all love a redemption arc, don't we, Dave? Robbie Brady, a little bit of experience. I think he's maybe going down the slope, if you like, of his career. David Connell, the goalkeeper from Peterborough, and Freddie Woodman, another goalkeeper. I like Freddie Woodman. I think that's a really decent signing for Preston at the stage they're at. In terms of key players for Preston this coming season, I really like Ben Whiteman, who plays in midfield for Preston. He picks up a lot of second balls, decent passer in there. I think he's a really key component of what they're about. And they've also got Alan Brown as well. But it's difficult to look past Emil Rees, isn't it? The striker who got 20 goals last season. And if he can do that again, then Preston could potentially finish quite high up. Ryan Lowe came in. He was once upon a time linked with the Huddersfield job. But he's done some good jobs. He's done well at Bury, Plymouth, and now Preston. He's on an upward trajectory in his managerial career. And I think many eyes are going to be on him to see how well he does at Preston. And I fancy him to do quite well. In terms of odds, there's 16th for promotion and the 8th favourites to go down. But I think these guys could be a bit of a dark horse to do quite well. I'm not saying they're going to get in the top 6, but I think I always say with a fair wind, I think Preston might actually be quite decent this year. I think they might get off to a good start, and I think it's how they handle that, how it'll set up for the rest of the season. So maybe they just lack a bit of additional X factor, like they had with Archer to maybe push on and do that. But I think there's going to be a upper mid-table push for Preston this year. I think they'll do quite well. How do you reckon they'll do, Dave?
I think they'll be absolutely fine. I don't know if they'll be any better than that, but I think they'll be absolutely fine. And Preston do certain things really, really well. And it's like, I hate to quote a cliche, but it's a tough place to go continually, and they'll be absolutely fine. I think what counts against them slightly this season is that I think that mix for the playoffs, I think there's sort of, instead of it being 5 or 6 teams this year, I think there's generally probably 7, 8, 9, you could argue. And I'm just not sure Preston have got enough to finish above 4 of them potentially. But yeah, they'll be absolutely fine. And I suspect they'll have a flirt with the top and settle in smack bang in the middle.
Red House?
Yeah, again, I feel like we're agreeing in a lot of this, but I think Preston are one of those teams where, they can't compete with the finances of some of the others, but I think they've got an excellent manager, and his level of coaching elevates a team that, on paper, in terms of wage budget, you probably have near the bottom. But yeah, I just think Ryan's a great manager. Preston, again, one of these teams that is difficult to beat. And I think Freddie Woodman is a really good signing for them. He's a great keeper. He was a Golden Glove with Swansea just a couple of seasons ago. Ben Woodburn, if he could rediscover some of the promise he showed, I think that's a smart pickup. And I think I don't think they're in any danger of relegation. I think they'll be pushing, again, one of these teams are put for mid-table, but they'll be one of them that I think has a few eye-catching results, beat a couple of good teams and have an impressive season, and again, one of the teams in the Championship that I never like playing, and I'm sure I'm not the only fan who would say that.
Thomas?
Yeah, totally agree. With all that, and I'd just put my 2 pence in and say I really rate Ryan Lowe as a manager. I think he'll come good this year. Maybe top half finish for him, I think.
I think that's time for a pint of Magic Rock stop clock, because I think that's all we've got time for on Preston. But decent chance of Preston this season. I think we all agree that, there may be one or two X Factor type players short of pushing past a couple of the other playoff sides. But best of luck to Preston. Thanks to From the Finney. And we'll catch you on the next episode.